Adrian survived the car crash, but the collision wiped out 3 years of marriage. His first love, A-list starlet Bella, flew to the VIP suite the moment she heard, chin lifted so high I thought she might tip over. "Get out!" she barked at me. I was 2 seconds from obeying, cheeks burning, when Adrian snatched me back against his chest. His eyes, cold, surgical, met hers. I lost my memory, not my vision. Before we go any further, subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening. Day 3 of Adrian's amnesia, the VIP door slammed open like it owed somebody money. A cloud of designer perfume surged in, so thick my nose itched. Bella, his once-upon-a-time moonlight, now Hollywood's favorite ingenue, sauntered inside. She peeled off her sunglasses, revealing a face sharpened by contour sticks and contempt. Her gaze swept me from head to toe, snagged on Adrian's fingers locked around mine, and turned razor sharp. "Ivy, he's half conscious and you're still clinging. Have you no shame?" An invisible fist closed around my heart. For a beat I forgot how long's worked. 3 years of marriage, and I thought I'd armored myself in titanium. One look at the woman he used to love and I cracked like sugar glass. 3 nights ago Adrian kissed the windshield going 70. Physically unharmed, mentally rewound to the exact moment he dumped Bella and still hadn't met me. Poof, gone were the vows, the whispered forever, the 1,000 tiny snapshots we collected like trading cards. The neurologist calls it selective amnesia. I call it the universe's idea of a prank. I tried to slide my hand free, coward's exit, but Adrian's grip turned to steel. Since waking, every glance he throws me is foreign territory, yet he won't let me cross the hospital threshold alone. The white coat explanation, patience anchored to the one familiar stimulus in the room, me. My translation, 3 years of my scent soaked into his bones and now his body mislabels the fragrance as safety. "Casey, please keep your voice down, this is still a hospital." I kept my tone flat, professional. She answered with a laugh sharp enough to shave ice, click-clack to the bed, and bent until her lashes almost brushed his cheek. "Adrian, don't be scared. I'm here." The second I heard, I canceled the whole press tour. Her manicured hand floated toward his face. Something hot and spiky lodged under my ribs. I shifted to block. Adrian beat me to it. A slight tilt of his head and her fingertips met empty air. His brows snapped together, colorless lips thinned to a warning line. A stay the hell away glacier formed around him. "Who are you?" 3 syllables, 3 buckets of ice water over her blow-dried perfection. Bella froze, lips parted in soft-shell shock. "Adrian, it's me, Bella." He studied her for 2 beats, flat, bored, then swung back to me. His irises were dark labyrinths, curiosity and distrust warring inside them, yet his hold on my hand tightened. Bella's pallor cycled from white to pistachio to humiliated crimson. She pivoted, chin stabbing upward. "I'm back. Get out." So fairy tales lie, 1,000 nights of marriage can't outshine one scarlet dot on his heart. I curled my free hand until nails half-mooned my palm, pain keeping the last crumbs of dignity in place. I inhaled to deliver the polite retreat forming on my tongue. Then Adrian spoke. "Where exactly should she go?" His voice was rough with sleep, each word razor clean. Bella's smirk flickered, victory she hadn't earned. "Adrian, you remember. She tricked you while I was overseas. We can fix this." "Shut it." Impatience sliced the air. He finally looked at her straight on, and the temperature in the room plummeted. "Did a door hit you in the head?" Silence fell so absolute I could hear the foredrip. I stared, certain my ears were mistranslating. This wasn't the tragic script I'd rehearsed, me in tears, them hugging against a sunset. Bella's face ran through every Pantone shade of mortification. "So you forgot me but kept her?" He ignored the question, gaze dropping to our interlaced fingers. Long, spare, warm, they looked scripted to fit together. A crease formed between his brows, confusion at his own reflex, yet he didn't let go. He brushed my cheek with the heel of his hand, a gesture so practiced it must live in muscle memory. "I'm amnesic, not brain dead." Low, almost soothing. On one side, shrill eau de rack perfume. On the other, quiet woman who doesn't set my teeth on edge. He flicked his stare to Bella, Arctic now. "Who should pack her bags?" Bella sprinted out in tears, tragic beauty mask dissolving under Adrian's single syllable, out. Quiet resettled, nothing but twin heartbeats on the monitor. He kept staring, the curiosity in those depths felt like hands patting me down. Water? I whispered. A nod. I extracted myself, oddly cold at the wrist, and poured from the plastic carafe. His gaze tracked every step, branding my spine. When I turned, the cups clinked from my tremor. He took the tumbler, our fingers grazed, static snap. I flinched. He swallowed, Adam's apple sliding, unfairly cinematic. What are we to each other? My heart cramped. Married. 3 years. The cups stalled midway to his lips. His gaze traveled from my sneakers to my messy bun, paused at my mouth. I licked dry lips, his eyes darkened, breath catching. Married, he echoed, voice gravelly. And I drew a blank on the entire sequel. Selective amnesia, traumatic retrograde, I mumbled to the floor. He huffed a laugh, self-mocking. So I selected you to forget. The sentence stabbed straight through cartilage. Yeah, why these 3 years? Was our life together disposable, a file his brain happily trashed? Awkward fog rolled in. He set the cup down, yanked the blanket off, and swung his legs out. Hey, bed rest, I protested, steadying him. He towered even seated. I ended up half in his lap, cocooned by cedar and citrus skin. His frame locked, eyes dropping to the crown of my head. Discharge. Now. You can't. I hate bleach smell. Imperious. Memory or no memory, CEO mode remained fully loaded. I lost the argument, paperwork signed, wheelchair refused, we left within the hour. Home, our glass-walled penthouse overlooking the Hudson. He paused at the threshold, cataloging the alien space. I knelt, produced his matte black loafers, then my own ridiculous pink rabbit slides. He eyed the bunnies, lip curled, but slipped them on anyway. I led him to the living room. Front and center, a life-size wedding canvas. In it he wore ivory peak lapels, rare smile soft as he kissed my forehead. I glowed in layers of silk organza. He stared so long the air thickened. If it's too weird I can store. Leave it, he cut in, voice unreadable. He lowered himself to the sectional, long limbs folded like expensive luggage. I placed a glass of iced lemon water in front of him. Your office, first door left upstairs. Bedroom. Where do I sleep? Master, right side. And you? Guest room should be fine. His gaze iced over. We're legally married, correct? Yes. Then why separate bedrooms? He lounged on the sofa, legs crossed, the picture of an interrogator. What are you feeling guilty about? I was struck dumb. Guilty? I was guilty that you never loved me at all, that our whole marriage had been an accident from the start. 3 years ago it was another drunken accident, he and I tangled up together. When I woke the next morning and met his frigid stare and the check he held out, I fled in disgrace. A month later I discovered I was pregnant. While I agonized over whether to keep the baby, old Mr. Sterling sought me out. Adrian needed a corporate marriage to cement his position in the company, and the bride's family happened to be mine. Jamie, he and I married because of the baby. After the wedding he treated me with perfect courtesy, always distant. Only after I lost the baby in an accident and nearly died did he seem to change. Clumsily he learned to look after me, gentle and attentive, giving me anything I asked. The ice between us slowly melted, and I believed we could at last be an ordinary couple who loved and stayed together. Then one car crash reset everything to zero. I'm not hiding anything. I drew a steady breath and met his searching gaze. I'm only afraid you won't feel comfortable. There's plenty I'm not comfortable with. One more doesn't matter. He rose, his tall frame loomed over me. Take me upstairs, to our bedroom. He weighted the word "our" like a hammer. My heart pounded. I could only steel myself and lead him to the second floor. When I pushed open the master bedroom door, the familiar sight rushed in. The room was cold-toned, black, white, gray, exactly Adrian's taste. Yet traces of me were everywhere, the jars and bottles on my vanity, the paperbacks on my nightstand, the succulents I kept on the balcony. Those small, living touches softened the icy room. Adrian's gaze swept the space and settled on the king-size bed. I had changed the sheets a few days earlier, pale gray, 2 pillows resting on top, one black, one white. His Adam's apple slid. He turned to me. "Where's the bath?" "There." I pointed. He grunted and strode in, shutting the door. Soon the splash of water rang out. I stood rooted, not knowing what to do with my hands or feet. Really, sleep together? With an Adrian who no longer remembers me? I fretted, then finally headed for the guest room. I had just reached the door when the bathroom lock clicked open. A towel slung low on his hips, Adrian walked out bare-chested. Beads of water slid along the defined lines of his abs, vanished into the V of his hips, and disappeared under the towel's edge. His black hair clung to his forehead, damp, shaving away some of his usual sharpness and adding lazy, dangerous sex appeal. My mouth went dry, my cheeks flamed. I jerked my gaze away. "Where are you going?" His voice carried steam, low and magnetic. I'll sleep in the guest room," I stammered. He paused mid-rub, then closed the distance step by step. Pressure rolled off him like a wave. I instinctively backed up until the cold door panel blocked any retreat. He leaned in, palms braced on either side of my head, caging me. Warm breath grazed my hair. "Ivy." My name left his lips in a hush. "I'll say it once more, we're married. Until I've figured everything out, you will not move 1 inch from this room. Sleep here." The command brooked no argument, fierce and absolute. My heart hammered at my throat, especially with his bare chest radiating heat I could feel through my thin nightgown. I yielded. That night I stayed in the master bedroom after all. On the vast bed we each kept to our own side, a demilitarized zone between us. I lay with my back to him, stiff as a plank, holding even my breath hostage. Behind me Adrian's breathing was long and even, it sounded like sleep. But I knew he wasn't. Because I could feel that scorching gaze branding my spine. There in the dark we each burned alone. I don't know how much time passed before, half asleep, I felt the mattress dip. A warm body pressed against me. I snapped awake, every hair on end. An arm circled my waist and tucked me into his chest. I froze, pulse thundering. "Don't move." His murmur brushed my ear, hoarse. "I'm cold." Like hell he was. The thermostat kept the room at a perfect 72, and his skin was a furnace. I stayed rigid while he held me from behind. His chest sealed to my back. I could count each powerful beat of his heart, as though it meant to sync with mine. The familiar cedar scent wrapped me, the embrace I once craved most. Now it only tied me in knots. I started, but he buried his face in the curve of my neck, hot breath raising shivers across my skin. "You smell so good," he mumbled, half asleep. Blood flooded my cheeks again. My shower gel was the one he loved. He said it carried the scent of gardenias after rain. He had forgotten everything, yet his body remembered. A strange ache of grievance rose in me. His arms tightened, searching for the fit they knew by heart. At last he exhaled in satisfaction and his breathing leveled off. He slept, while I, locked in his hold, stared at the dark till dawn. Next morning I woke to the trill of my phone. I found myself curled entirely in Adrian's arms, one of his legs thrown possessively over mine, our bodies scandalously entwined. Across the room, my cell rattled on the nightstand. I tried to wriggle free. He frowned, locked me closer, and growled a protest, like a big dog guarding a bone. Half amused, half helpless, I stretched until I snagged the phone. "Luna, my best friend." I muted the call and patted his arm. "Adrian, wake up." "I need to get up." No response. I nudged again. "Adrian?" He opened his eyes reluctantly. Sleep softened his gaze, stripping away the usual chill. He looked cute. Seeing me so near, he blinked, let go, and scooted back, ears flushing scarlet. "Sorry." He cleared his throat, voice rough. The flustered CEO post-amnesia was not so annoying after all. I slipped from under the quilt and called Luna back on my way to the balcony. "My queen, you finally pick up. Are you okay?" I heard that bastard Adrian lost his memory, and has Bella crawled out of her hole again? Luna's machine gun words blasted through. I'm fine. I kept my voice low. It's complicated. I'll fill you in later. Fine. Watch yourself. If Adrian bullies you, say the word and I'll lead the squad to trash his hospital. I laughed despite myself. He's already discharged. I hung up, turned, and collided with Adrian's dark gaze. He had left the bed too, wearing only loose sleep pants. Morning light carved every groove of muscle across his torso. Who was that? He asked. A friend. He gave a non-committal hum, but his eyes tracked over me as if under X-ray. Any plans today? I asked, uneasy. Office. Your body. I'm fine. He cut me off. Connor is forwarding the last 3 years of project files. He intended to reclaim his empire at lightning speed. I nodded, wise enough not to argue. Go shower. I'll make breakfast, I said, heading out. Wait. I paused. He stepped into the walk-in, yanked a white dress shirt off a hanger, and tossed it to me. Put it on. I glanced at my silk slip, low neckline, hem skimming mid-thigh, and my cheeks reignited. You, get out first. One brow lifted. Instead of leaving, he leaned against the jamb, the picture of ill just watch. I was so mortified I could only spin around, yank off my nightgown in a flash, and pull on his shirt. It swallowed me whole, the hem skimming mid-thigh and staging its own missing pants illusion. When I turned back, I tugged self-consciously at the fabric. Adrian's gaze lingered on my bare legs for several beats, his eyes darkening again. From now on, no walking around the penthouse half-dressed, he ordered. I pursed my lips and silently hissed, control freak. Breakfast was still cloaked in awkward silence. I fried him eggs, toasted bread. He ate without a sound. Halfway through, he lifted his head. How did we meet? My fork froze, my heart skipped. What was I supposed to say? That we hooked up in a bar, got drunk, and married because of the pregnancy? I was terrified he'd brand me calculating. I hesitated, then chose the sanitized version. It was a corporate alliance. Something unreadable flashed across his jet pupils, disappointment, maybe resignation. Really? He set down his knife and fork, dabbing his mouth with a napkin, every inch the aristocrat. So Bella's claim, that you trapped me, is true? A needle seemed to pierce my heart. I didn't. I raised my eyes, fighting to keep my voice steady. Both families approved. Your grandfather himself came to propose. He studied me, silent, weighing truth from lie. Finally he stood. I'm heading to the office. He strode to the foyer to change shoes. I followed, meaning to say drive safe. He straightened, then suddenly pinched my chin, forcing my face up. His calloused thumb rasped my skin, sending shivers through me. Ivy, he said, eyes locked on mine, however this started, right now you're my wife. That won't change until my memory returns. So kill any stray thoughts, and don't let me catch you cuddling or calling some other guy. I blinked. Other guy? Luna is a woman. Also, he bent to my ear, voice low, that shirt looks killer on you. He nipped my burning earlobe. I shuddered, brain crashing. By the time I rebooted, he was gone, leaving only the straight, cold line of his back. I cupped my scorching ear, thoughts spinning. The man, amnesiac and still a lethal flirt. I'm the idiot who can't handle the heat yet keeps running into the fire. Once Adrian left, the vast apartment felt alien. These 3 years he'd been busy, but if he wasn't traveling he'd always come home on time. We'd stroll after dinner, binge movies on weekends, camp upstate. Those simple, warm frames now felt like last-century relics. I sighed and decided to escape to my atelier in Soho. It's on a midtown high floor. I craft high-end jewelry. The instant I walked in, my assistant Xiaomi pounced, eyes sparkling with gossip. Ivy, you're trending. What? She shoved her phone at me. Twitter's trending list glowed. Hashtag Bella visits Adrian. Hashtag Bella Adrian reunite. Hashtag Mrs. Sterling. I tapped the first, grainy pap shots of Bella racing from the hospital, sobbing as if the world had ended. the replies had already exploded. At Soft Bella, don't cry, babe. That homewrecker must have bullied you. At Bella my queen, my heart. She waited years, the scumbag came back, but the mistress stole her slot. At Sterling who even is this Mrs. CEO? Hot as Bella? At Detective Fangirl, found her, some no-name jeweler named Ivy. Look. Mediocre. No match for Bella. I almost laughed. Bella's fragile broken doll act was textbook. I closed Twitter. Ignore it. Grab the Starfall sketches for me. On it, Ivy. I dove into work to numb myself. Starfall is a parure I designed for a charity gala, inspired by the meteor shower Adrian and I once watched. He'd wrapped me in his coat, pointed at a shooting star, whispered, Ivy, one day I'll gift you the whole galaxy. Looking back, the memory tasted like rust. I was lost in the drawings when the door burst open. Expecting a client, I glanced up and saw Adrian's mother, Eleanor. Impeccable suit, killer contour, she scanned my atelier like it was a crime scene. Comfy little hideout, she sneered, stopping before me, looking down her nose. I rose. Mother, don't call me that, I'm no such thing. She sniffed. Ivy, let's discuss you and Adrian. Amnesia erased you, perfect timing. From her Hermes bag she whipped out a check, slapping it on the desk. 5 million. Take it, vanish from Adrian. The sight stung my eyes. Another payoff. 3 years ago it had been Adrian, now his mother. Do Sterlings truly believe money cures everything? And if I refuse? I met her stare. Shock flickered across her face, then hardened into fury. Don't be stupid. You know how you clawed into Sterling. If not for the bastard in your Eleanor! A roar sliced the air. I spun. Adrian stood in the doorway, face like a thunderhead, eyes ice daggers aimed at Eleanor. Who authorized you to come here? He strode in, tugging me behind him in one possessive sweep. Eleanor faltered. I dropped by. Adrian, don't let this witch fool you. Back then she. Enough, he growled. My life is none of your business. His gaze slid to the check. The temperature dropped another degree. Take your money and stay the hell away from her. Adrian! Have you lost it? You're speaking to me like this over her? Eleanor quivered with rage. She's not her, he corrected, tightening his grip on my hand. She's my wife, Ivy. While my memory's blank, she's the only one I allow near me. Try your cheap tricks again and I won't spare even family. His words slammed into Eleanor and into me. I stared at the broad wall of his back, emotions tangled. He remembers nothing, so why protect me? Fury sent Eleanor storming out. Only the two of us remained. Adrian turned, brows knit. Did she hurt you? I shook my head, eyes stinging. He lifted a hand toward my cheek, hesitated, then awkwardly patted my head. Don't be scared. Tears slipped free. I couldn't stop them. Not from hurt, but from that single don't be scared. He fumbled to wipe my cheeks, clumsy, panicked. Why are you crying? Did she hit you? I shook harder. He exhaled, folding me against his chest, rubbing slow circles on my back. All right, no more tears. His voice softened. From now on, nobody lays a finger on you. I buried my face in the solid warmth of him, drinking in the steady drum of his heart. Adrian, you big idiot. You forgot everything, and remembered everything. Since that superhero stunt at my atelier, Eleanor hadn't dared approach me again. Adrian, meanwhile, evolved into human Velcro. He left for the office and returned like clockwork, then planted himself beside me nightly. I read, he reviewed files. I sketched, he flipped financial magazines. He called it joint supervision for mutual improvement. At bedtime he spooned me without shame, same excuse, he was cold. I protested, but he simply pinned me to the bed and silenced every word with a deep kiss. That kiss was domineering, forceful, drenched in a possessiveness that brooked no refusal, almost devouring me. When it ended, I lay limp in his arms, breath ragged. He, still unsated, traced my lower lip with his tongue and rasped, "Still feeling troublesome?" How could I dare? I was realizing that, since the amnesia, Adrian had become startlingly direct and predatory. He hides nothing of his hunger for me. Those dark eyes often surge with scorching emotions I can't read. More than once I thought he would lose control. Yet each time he reins himself in. He'll pant against my ear, chanting my name over and over, then crush me to him with all his strength, as if to confirm I'm real. I know he's waiting for his memory to return, or for himself to fall in love with me again. Online, the war between Bella and me has turned white hot. Bella's team are masters of spin, steadily releasing sweet old photos of her and Adrian paired with maudlin captions, casting her as the wrong soulmate. Her fans swarm Sterling Industries' official page, howling for me to get out of Sterling. On my side, besides Luna, my best friend who battles trolls like a gladiator, there's hardly a peep. I refuse to parade our private life for strangers to judge. That evening, Sterling Industries hosts its annual charity gala, the guest list a who's who of Manhattan. As Mrs. Sterling, I will of course accompany Adrian. I slip into the starfall gown I designed, midnight blue silk strewn with diamond dust that catches the light like a galaxy spilled across fabric. When I descend the stairs, Adrian, reading in the living room, freezes. He lifts his gaze and simply stops breathing. The heat in his eyes could melt steel. He rises, closes the distance one measured step at a time, throat working. "Ivy," he murmurs, voice rough, "you're breathtaking." He tucks a loose strand behind my ear. His fingers are cool, yet they burn straight to my core. "Shall we, Mrs. Sterling?" He offers his hand. I place mine in his. He laces our fingers at once. Inside the ballroom, the starlight of chandeliers competes with camera flashes. The instant we appear, every lens pivots, every gaze follows. Adrian doesn't flinch, guiding me through the crowd, hand clamped around mine. He introduces me to power brokers, tone flat and final, my wife, Ivy. Those seasoned sharks study our joined hands, speculation flickering behind polite smiles. Then a discordant voice slices through. "Adrian." Bella glides over in a scarlet gown cut to scandal, wine glass swaying like a metronome. Tonight she's weaponized every inch, killer heels, crimson lips calculated to eclipse me. She dismisses me with a glance and toasts Adrian. "Long time no see, didn't expect to run into you." Adrian doesn't even spare her a look. He bends to me. "Hungry? Let's get you something to eat." Absolute null. Bella's smile cracks. She bites her lip, then suddenly wobbles and shrieks, pitching straight at Adrian. Classic drama queen stumble. She's used it in half her films. Gasps ripple around us. My heart lurches. I reach for Adrian. But Adrian is faster than thought. The instant before Bella can crash into him, he hooks my waist and pivots us aside. "Jamie, meet carpet." The actress faceplants with a spectacular thud, crystal flute exploding on marble. Dead silence. Every eyebrow shoots into hairlines. Adrian behaves as if nothing happened, frowning down at me. "Did she scare you? Did the dress survive?" I shake my head, staring at Bella sprawled in a puddle of Merlot, and feel a hot, pure rush of victory. "Well played, Adrian." Only after he's sure I'm unscathed does he glance at the floor, gaze sub-zero. "Casey, if you can't walk without tripping, stay home and save us the spectacle." He sweeps me toward the buffet, leaving Bella to marinate in pity, ridicule, and contempt. By midnight, the hashtag amnesiac CEO not blind is exploding across trending. The gala fiasco reduces Bella to a national punchline. Instead of sympathy, she harvests memes branding her stunt queen green tea. Adrian's one-liner is clipped into a million GIFs. I scroll, giggling at the photoshopped jokes, until Adrian emerges from the shower, towel around his neck. He drops beside me. "What's so funny?" I show him. He glances, tosses the phone to the carpet. "No more garbage in your head." "It's hilarious," I mutter. He leans in, breath scalding my ear. "That amusing, more than me?" The low timbre sends my pulse skittering. I hurriedly shake my head. "And no." He smirks, brushes my lips. "Good girl." Then he stretches out, hauling me against him, chin resting on my hair. Sleep. Curled against his chest, breathing his clean scent, I feel safer than I have in weeks. Of course Bella isn't finished. A few days later she goes live on Instagram. Tears stream down her cheeks as she claims the fall was accidental. She was overwhelmed at seeing Adrian. She insists they shared an epic love, first loves torn apart by cruel fate, insisting they'd be married now but for misunderstandings. Finally she brandishes a diary, reading passages of their supposed fairy tale and how I schemed to split them. Sobbing, she accuses me of using family influence to force Adrian into marriage, dooming their destiny. The chat detonates. I knew it! Ivy's the mistress. Disgusting, steals the guy then plays innocent. Bella's tragedy, dumped then cyberbully. Boycott Ivy. Kick her out of Sterling. Public opinion flips overnight. I become the villainess everyone loves to hate. Luna calls, ready to eviscerate Bella's ancestors. I stay calm. Luna, don't waste anger, her clock's ticking, because I know Adrian won't stay idle. Sure enough, the next morning Sterling Industries posts a terse statement. 1. Mr. Adrian and Ms. Bella split 3 years ago, zero contact since. 2. Mr. Adrian and Mrs. Ivy married of their own free will, union legal, relationship solid. 3. Malicious defamation against Mrs. Ivy will be prosecuted. Attached, a lawyer's letter naming Bella as defendant. But the kill shot follows. A top gossip account drops an audio clip. Bella to her manager. Ruru, that diary, you wrote it, right? So what? Adrian's got amnesia, dead men tell no tales. Ivy's going down this time. But if we're exposed, no ifs. Do as I say. I've set a meet with Ivy, your guy will snap photos of her pushing me. We'll cement her bitch reputation. The internet implodes. The same users who wept for Bella now roast her alive. Labels like self-scripted villainess and liar starlet stick like tar. Her comment section becomes a wasteland, brands flee, her career flatlines. Watching the reversal, I feel no glee, only curiosity. Where did Adrian get that recording? That night I tossed the question at him. He's in the study, annotating contracts. Without looking up he murmurs, a magician never reveals his tricks. I pouted, walked behind him, and reached out to knead his shoulders. Tell me, what really happened? He half closed his eyes in pleasure, caught my hand, and brushed his lips across my knuckles. From the moment she first showed up in the hospital room, I had Connor dig into her, he said quietly. My instinct told me that woman meant trouble. Something bumped softly against my heart. Instinct, huh? Then, did you investigate me too? I whispered. He finally lifted his gaze, black irises swirling with emotion. Instead of answering, he asked back, do you want me to have looked you up? I shook my head. I was scared he'd unearth the truth of our marriage, scared he would find out about the baby we'd never meet, scared he would push me away again. Seeing the anxiety in my eyes, he sighed, pulled me onto his lap, and wrapped his arms around me. Ivy, he murmured, cradling my face, brow pressed to mine, voice low and serious. I admit, when I first woke up, I was full of suspicion and defenses. I didn't remember you, yet I wanted to be near you. That loss of control unsettled me. I searched everything about the last 3 years, including the baby. My body turned to stone, the blood in my veins felt frozen. He knew. I'm sore, the word was barely born when he pressed a finger to my lips. The one who should apologize is me, he said, pain naked in his eyes. If it weren't for me, our child wouldn't have. It wasn't your fault. I cut in, voice trembling. It was an accident. It had been a car crash. Adrian had shielded me and ended up gravely injured himself. The baby was gone. I had raged, I had hated, but I had never, ever blamed him. Ivy, look at me. He forced my eyes to his. I know our beginning was ugly. I admit, at first I married you for profit. But these 3 years together weren't a lie. What I feel for you isn't a lie. I may have lost memories, yet I never forgot I love you. My body, my heart, every cell in me remembers loving you. Tears slipped free without warning. Staring at his face so close to mine, at the devotion and remorse shining there, I lost all restraint, threw my arms around his neck, and sobbed. He held me tight, repeating against my ear, "I'm sorry, Ivy. I'm back. I love you." I cried until I hiccuped, nodding frantically. I knew, this time he had truly returned. Not because of recollection, but because of love. Bella was finished. Adrian and I, on the other hand, felt like newlyweds again. No, closer than newlyweds. Post-amnesia, Adrian had shed his old reserve, becoming strikingly direct and ardent. In front of the entire executive team he would tug me into his arms and kiss me, declaring I was the only love of his life. While I sketched designs, he'd hug me from behind, bury his face in my neck, and rub like a big cat until I packed him. He even bought a private aisle, named it after me, and vowed to cover it with my favorite gardenias. The staff, stunned at first, then indifferent, now calmly devoured the PDA their CEO dished out. And I slowly grew addicted to his clinginess. Sure, his teasing left me flushed, but inside I felt a sweetness and contentment I'd never known. That day was our wedding anniversary. Adrian mysteriously whisked me to the New York Public Library on 5th. Puzzled, I asked, "Why here?" "To revisit the dream," he said, leading me inside. The weekend crowd was thick. We found a window table. "Remember?" He pointed at a shelf across from us. "Our first meeting happened right here." Of course I remembered. I'd been a senior, working on my graduation project, camping in the library for research. That day, reaching for a high book, I'd climbed a stool, then slipped. A pair of strong arms caught me mid-fall. I looked up and crashed into eyes as deep as starlight. It was Adrian. Back then he wasn't Sterling's CEO, just a grad student auditing finance classes. "So we met that early," he said, smiling. "Looks like destiny." I flushed. "Hardly. You were ice cold, didn't even give me your number." "Really?" He raised an eyebrow. "Let me fix that." He pulled a velvet box from his pocket and flipped it open. Inside lay an exquisitely crafted engagement ring. The inner band was engraved with an F and a W, separated by a tiny fingerprint. I designed it myself. It's called Only One. He lifted the ring and took my hand. "There's a print lock inside, only I can put it on you, only you can take it off me. Ivy, will you marry me again?" The reading room was silent, everyone was buried in books. Yet to me the world had shrunk to just us two. He knelt, gazing up with that familiar, bottomless devotion. Tears blurred my sight. I nodded hard. "I will." His smile outshone the sun slanting through the windows. He slid the ring onto my finger, stood, and, under stares ranging from shocked to delighted, kissed me long and deep. The kiss was gentle, lingering, cherishing what had been lost and found. "Happy anniversary, wife," he whispered. On the way home I leaned on his shoulder, toying with the ring. "Adrian, have your memories all come back?" He intertwined our fingers. "Not entirely, just scattered pieces," he said. "But it doesn't matter." "Why?" "Because," he brushed a kiss on my forehead, "I don't need to recall everything. My instinct is to love you, that's enough. Memory can vanish, but love is instinct. It's carved into bone, dissolved in soul, never to disappear." Epilogue. 6 months later, an upscale bistro on the outskirts of the city. A woman in a server's uniform knelt, scrubbing the floor, head bowed. Her hair was dull, her face haggard, no trace of her former glory. Sudden commotion erupted at the entrance. The woman looked up, a perfect couple walked in. The man tall and handsome, the woman gentle and radiant, fingers laced. Adrian and Ivy. The woman's body jerked, the rag slipped from her hand. It was Bella. Since her downfall she'd plummeted from the clouds to the mud. To pay off astronomical breach of contract fees she juggled several jobs, her days bitter. Adrian seated Ivy by the window, gallantly pulling at her chair and arranging her napkin, his gaze tender enough to drip. On the restaurant's giant screen a jewelry commercial played, the featured model was Ivy. She wore a set called Instinct, smiling confident and poised. It was her own design, and the launch had been a runaway success. "Mrs. Sterling, you grow lovelier by the day," the manager gushed, fawning. Ivy smiled, every gesture glowing with happiness only love can polish. Bella glared, eyes bloodshot with envy. Why? Why did that woman own the world while she crawled like an ant? She refused to accept it. Then Adrian seemed to sense something. He flicked a cool glance her way. The look was icy, dismissive, as if she were trash. Bella's heart froze. She knew her life was over. She snatched the rag off the floor, scurried into the kitchen, and never dared show her face again. By the window, Ivy noticed Adrian's gaze and peered over, seeing nothing. "What is it?" she asked. Adrian's eyes returned to her, a soft smile curving his lips. "Nothing." He took her hand. "Just thinking my wife looks especially beautiful today." Outside, city lights flickered on and starfall glittered. Yet in his eyes there was only her reflection.